Good day, it's September 9th, 2024. We are just 2 months before the 2024 presidential election, and things are continuing to shape for the better for presidential candidate Kamala Harris. I'm Sam Buban. Welcome to the polls.
And I'm Joe Buban. Welcome to this week's edition.
Tomorrow is the scheduled presidential debate on the ABC network. The question circulating among many political pundits and observers is, will Donald Trump show up or ditch the debate by trying to change the rules and not show up if he doesn't get his way? We will see what happens tomorrow. For those of you who are new to U.S. politics and elections, we want to give you a little explainer. First, in a presidential election year, there are also sets of U.S. senators who will be in the ballot. Those who are up for elections and those who are running to challenge, and candidates of both sides of the parties or independents who are running for an open seat. Open seats happens when the incumbent is no longer running or have decided to retire. There are 435 members of the House of Representatives who needed to be elected from the 435 congressional districts. 4 of those districts are in the state of Nevada, and 52 districts allocated to California. With the population change in the 2020 census, California lost 1 congressional district. The battle for control of the 119th Congress, which will convene next year on January 3rd, 2025, is raging. While the Democrats continue to hold control of the U.S. Senate, here's the current scenario. It is very likely that they will lose 1 seat in the most vulnerable seat that Senator Joe Manchin narrowly survived in the 2020 election. Joe Manchin decided to retire. If that will be the only seat the Democrats will lose, the Senate will be split 50-50. But if Kamala Harris wins the presidential election, Tim Walz will become the vice president and can break the tie for the Democrats as president of the Senate. That's the only form of majority in a vote for any bill or resolution that, if ever, becomes a party line vote. The vice president can vote to break the tie.
What about the House of Representatives? Of the 435 members, currently the Republicans are in control of that chamber by a difference of only 4 votes to pass a bill or resolution that may be put on the floor. Democrats had to win at least 4 seats to gain a majority and change control to their favor. Granting the Democrats can hold on to their seats, Democrats have been looking to take down at least 6 vulnerable Republicans, and the circumstances are on the Democrats' side. Here are some of the reasons. First off, as of end of August, the collective fundraising of the Democrats had outraised the Republicans by massive amount in dollars. Republicans' House Congressional Campaign Committee reportedly is short of $37 million, money it badly needed to defend their incumbent districts that are being heavily targeted by Democrats. The same thing with the Senate races, where Republican Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri is facing a serious challenge this year, and Texas Senator Ted Cruz now has a formidable challenger. Congressman Colin Allred is now trailing by 7 points behind Ted Cruz. Both seats can determine whether or not the Democrats can have a 51 seats in the 119th Congress.
A Las Vegas judge had accepted a plea deal from 4 Las Vegas teenagers who were accused in the killing of schoolmate Jonathan Lewis Jr. Judge Linda Markey accepted the deal from the defendants to a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter and had transferred the custody of the 4 defendants to the juvenile system. They were originally tried as adults. The transfer to the juvenile criminal justice system also means that their records will be sealed. The court also released to the public the names of the defendants, who are minors, as Damian Hernandez, Dontral Beaver, Johnny Robinson, and Trayvon Randolph. They were originally charged with murder and conspiracy. It is reported that the mother of the victim, Melissa Reddy, disagreed with the deal when she spoke to the press, and she was not informed of such a deal. But the district attorney's office rejected such a claim and said that she was accurately informed about the plea deal. The sentences is up to the judge, according to defense lawyer Robert Draskovich, who represented Johnny Robinson, as it was not part of the plea deal. However, defense lawyer Draskovich said he is going to ask the court for the release of Robinson, who has been incarcerated since his arrest in November of 2023. We at the Pulse chose not to mention the name of the high school where the incident happened, in respect for the school and the students who loves their school like a second home. We are going to take a commercial break. Please stay with us.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
From the Telly Award-winning creator of Love and Karma, Legacy, and Ultra Feminist. Underneath the bright neon lights of Sin City, where fortunes are won and lost in an instant, and the truth can be a bit hazy. Join Elena, a hardworking single mother, her hot-headed son Miguel, and Gabriel, a Filipino pop star on the brink of international stardom, as they embark on a journey of self-discovery, love, and the courage to find one's voice and speak the truth. Made to Shine, coming soon, presented by Philam TV Network. Written and directed by Giovanni Espiritu.
To keep updated or for more information, visit filmtv.us/made to shine or scan the QR code to be added to the email list for updates and upcoming opportunities to be part of the show. Executive produced by Sam Buban and Esmeralda Padilla Gould.
In New York, a former aide to two New York governors was arrested by FBI for acting as an agent of the Chinese government. Linda Sun was arrested last week in New York City, and federal prosecutors in Brooklyn charged her for being an unregistered foreign agent. Linda Sun was once the deputy chief of staff to Governor Kathy Hochul and former Governor Mario Cuomo. The U.S. Justice Department has initiated numerous prosecutions in recent years aimed at rooting out covert agents advancing Beijing's interests in American soil. It has been reported before that multiple media outlets that China is operating a secret police station in New York City, hiding in plain sight, part of the clandestine efforts by the Communist Party to spy and bully Chinese nationals working or studying in the U.S. U.S. intelligence agencies had been warning us for years about the threat of China's influence in the United States. Agents that may not be your idea of spying on someone or collecting military information, but their agents can work on access to people of influence, even among local officials in exchange for favors. Anything that is of importance to China, like local government, who has a say on land use and zoning regulations, federal or state regulators that can be influenced by these foreign agents. American citizens who are working for the benefit of China and trade or financial influence are part of it. In the U.S., it is against the law to work for any foreign government or foreign commercial entity of whom their government has influence or control without registering as foreign agents. Former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort was found guilty in 2018 for financial crimes and tax evasion relating to his work for Russia lobbying in Ukraine. Manafort was eventually pardoned by Trump before he left office.
In our world news, in Colombia, Colombian truckers and bus drivers staged protests in response to recent increase in the price of diesel fuel. The truckers blocked the highway in major cities, forcing thousands of Colombians to walk to their jobs because there were no transportation movement in the cities. Truckers are also protesting the government's plan to end government subsidies for diesel fuel that most operators rely upon to stay in business.
Speaking of foreign agents, in Philippines, a former mayor of Banban, Tarlac, Alice Guo, was arrested in Indonesia. Alice Guo, who Philippine authorities believe her real name is Guo Huaping, became a fugitive when she stopped appearing at a Senate hearing as a witness or resource person relating to the alleged involvement in criminal activities on illegal online gambling, known in the Philippines as POGO or POGO, which stands for Philippine Overseas Gaming Operators. They operate gambling operations that cater to foreigners outside the Philippines, mostly Chinese. Many of them are operating illegally in the Philippines. The Philippines House and Senate investigations stemmed from multiple reported and documented abusers of Filipino and foreign workers hired by these POGOs, including physical and sexual abuse by their Chinese operators, kidnapping and illegal detention, and non-payment of wages. Former Mayor Guo, according to evidence already uncovered by investigators, was an alleged facilitator of the POGO establishment, including signing the lease on properties used to operate, paying utility bills, and facilitating the license requirements. Investigations revealed that she was not a real Filipino citizen, but claimed to be one based on the 1987 Philippine Constitution as one who was born in China with a Filipina mother, and that a delayed report of birth, which is allowed under the law, was filed with the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs. Congressional investigators are looking at the angle that she might be a Chinese agent in the Philippines, something that still need to be proven. Alice Guo, according to a senator, left the Philippines on July 18 for Malaysia and then to Singapore before leaving for Indonesia. The Interpol has been notified by the Philippine authorities, who requested that she be arrested or held for extradition to the Philippines if she is found, because she is a fugitive and was arrested in Indonesia last week. Alice Guo has not been charged with any other crimes yet, except for contempt of Congress for failure to appear when she was subpoenaed and later went on the run. We are going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for an interview with a candidate for the State Assembly, Marlene Drake. Please don't go away.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now is Marlene Drake, candidate for Nevada's Assembly District 36. Marlene, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Please tell us, please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself before we go into the questions.
Okay, so I am from Jamaica, so I'm an immigrant, and the reason I bring that up is, for me, it was a dream come true at the age of 9 to, end up in Chicago. And I think that really shaped me for who I am today and why I'm running. With that said, I've always looked at education as power. Knowledge for me, I ingrained that in my children as well, and I treat every single one of my students as my own when it comes to that knowledge. I did get my master's in crisis response and trauma based on, after being in Nevada and seeing that we just didn't have access to mental health like we should. So I thought this is the field I want to go into. And from there, my PhD is in education.
Fantastic. It's like a lot of mothers really, it's good that without the mothers that are really pressing us on education, go to school, that I heard that men are more complacent about, if they don't want to go to school, don't learn, but it's the mother always, I'm so glad,
So, give us like some landmark streets and where in the map exactly is District 36?
So District 36, let's just say I feel like I'm the stepchild here in the assembly because I have Pahrump, I have Sandy Valley, I have Blue Diamond, I have Mount Charleston, I have Sky Canyon, and I know that there's parts of Summerlin as well. I'm scattered out. And it's based on the school district lines. So I understand that we have grown in Sky Canyon, so I'm hoping that will change. But yeah, those are my areas.
That's the District 36?
Yes, very big.
Yeah,
but
big.
I hope that even though it's scattered out, I do visit Pahrump quite often. And I'm hoping to make, visits to Sandy Valley and Blue Diamond as well, just so they don't feel like just because I live in Sky Canyon, they're left out. So hopefully I can treat them the way I treat my students and advocate for everybody.
So you are a teacher and you currently have a master's and you're a PhD and you are an advocate based on relating to the things you graduated from. So how's it working for you in the campaign trail?
So I haven't bumped into anyone that has a background in crisis and trauma yet. And so for me, I've walked in, I know there are other educators there, but my biggest platform is mental health and education as well as economic growth. I feel like those three things, they intertwine. And when one area lacks, such as with mental health, we're 51st for access to mental health, but that's for younger people. For adults, it's 39. We're 39th for mental health access. So if you look at those numbers, for me, coming in as a professor, and I'm a psychology teacher as well, I saw that the reason that we had such a high dropout rate, especially at College of Southern Nevada, was based on mental health. We don't look into the system of, a lot of people don't know our contained rooms, which are MCS or MCSDD, they flow right into CSN. And so these are students that learn basic skills training. And so now imagine what that does to their mental health. So they weren't prepared to go into, college level work. And so with that, I started to tutor them extra time, outside of class. Also, I do retention for the School of Health Science. And so I see a lot of students that are from diverse backgrounds.
Yes.
And I'm talking about from the Philippines, from China, and they come and they're like, the culture is different. I don't feel like I belong here. I don't feel like I'm connected. And so I said, you know what? I'm calling these assembly people, I'm calling Congress, I'm calling like, hey, is there something we could do to help our students? And it almost like it fell on deaf ears, And I thought, forget this, I'm putting my hat in. I'm going to go in, I'm going to advocate for them because there's only so much I can do unless I'm a part of a bill. If I'm a part of legislature, then I can change it.
Yes, so that's good to know. If elected, what's on the top of your list when you submit a bill in the state assembly?
Well, the first one I want to go after is mental health for children who are under 11. I'm seeing a lot of reports fall on my desk for my clients. They are suspending 6-year-olds. And I feel like I understand that they had a bill out, I believe it's Assembly Bill 283, for safety at the schools and that's pertaining to the behavior of the teacher. My research took a different outlook on that. I said, well, I was going to study children, and then I said, I'll study the college students. And I thought, no, our college students are not really the biggest problem. It's our school staff.
Yeah.
And so after my study, I was able to show that there is a huge implicit bias when it pertains to students of color. And so looking back, my first bill is going to be advocating for students of color so that they're not suspended. And a lot of people don't know, you would think it's alarming that you would say a 7-year-old deserves to be suspended from school. And a lot of people don't realize that has to go through the superintendent. So if the superintendent doesn't know that child, 9 times out of 10, they are suspending these students or moving them out. And that's not just our average general students, it's also students from special needs background.
Yes.
And that comes on my desk. They say that, based on the assembly bill that was passed, I believe there were 4 assembly people that said no to it, and I agreed with them. And I probably would have been a part of that group, so people probably don't want to hear this. But hey, if it's wrong and there's inequity, I'm not going to go for it. No one's going to buy my vote. I don't care if you're a part of my party. If it's wrong and it's against a student, 7 years old is ridiculous to say we need progressive suspension because they want to do restorative justice. But we have to do this a whole nother day to really talk about restorative justice. But to tell me that a 6-year-old deserves to be suspended, that's and you didn't deal with it as a principal in 1 to 2 business days, which is what is outlined in this bill. But I think we need more people that are a part of this, participating in this, understanding what our students are going through, and then maybe they would have looked at this bill and say, we need to take out some of those clauses. So, yeah.
It's just like a deja vu for me, because I know that when I was talking to Assemblywoman Claire Thomas, and even in a roundtable meeting, we were talking about that you can't just expel students. There has to be like other mechanism to keep them in school.
Yes.
And
so piggybacking off of that,
yes,
the bill would just basically state that we need better training for our instructors, for our staff at the school, because if we have better training, cultural diversity, cultural competency, which I developed, we would see a difference in the behaviors and reactions from the students who don't feel like they're motivated to learn or feel like they're connecting to you because you're not understanding what they're going through.
Right.
And like I said, I've had my class is 100% retention rate in my class.
Fantastic,
100%.
yeah.
Why? Because I take the time to respect them. I take the time to get to know them. And this goes to when I was even at a behavioral school for K through 12. They would send me in the worst classroom. Go ahead, send me. I never had issues with those students because it was a meet you at the front door. Hello, how are you? How was your day? You don't know what kind of day what they're coming from. So they did manage to, put in, if they're coming from a foster or they're coming from this system, let's, pay attention to that.
Stereotype that, they get big.
We could talk on and on about this
Right.
because even if you send them out to juvie, they don't have, their studies are also showing and proving that we don't receive the students back to the school. And then you wonder why we're 49th for a dropout rate right now, why we're a chance for success at a D level in Vegas right now. So those are one of the bills that I really want to look at is it's between education, making sure that our students are feeling like they can connect regardless of how they look, and mental health.
Well said. I agree with that. Sometimes it has to do with like having the school staff not being properly trained. It's like we're trying to our government is trying to curtail police violence. So many of them. Like police officers has to go into a training for de-escalation, but it's like not understanding what a student, it's they won't be able to help with the retention if they don't have the proper training, how to deal with problematic students. So
exactly.
So you said you did it was well put by you.
We are almost out of time. What would you like to say to your voters, Marlene?
One thing I want to beg of you, just because someone is in office, check on them. because they get complacent. They're you know, we don't mean to as humans, but their ego starts to grow, and they forget why they're there. They forget that the voters are the reason why they're there. So check on how they're voting. See if you have access to them. Are they returning your call? Are they only coming out when it's campaign time? You know, things like that are important, because at the end of the day, they're going in and voting for themselves, and that's affecting you. And we're talking about, you know, going down on the tickets. I'm saying local people. Understand your state people, understand your local councilmen, your school district trustees, because it's one thing to come out and say to you that they're going to do what they're going to do. I want to be here to listen to you, to advocate for you, just like I do for all my students now, for all my clients. I'm going into this political, you know, reign for you. This is not something that I thought I would see myself, you know, pursuing, but I see too many times your voice is not being heard. So I'm asking you to hold those public officials, you know, accountable. Make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do, and make sure you have access to them.
We are going to leave it at that. Marlene Drake, candidate for State Assembly District 36. Thank you for talking to us today.
You're welcome.
It's our pleasure. Well, folks, please join us again next time here at The Pulse. I'm Sam Buban. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Joe Buban. Thank you for joining us. God bless your week.